course, I'll never forget the day that I was down at the first professional engineering symposium of my life. And all of a sudden somebody comes out and they go over to the mic and they say, "Would Paul Terrell please go over to the door?" So I get up and walk over the door and they say, "You've got an emergency telephone call. You've got to go answer this phone," you know. So I go over to the telephone and I get on there and it's Kramer Electronics. And the guy says, "I just had a couple of guys in here." He says, "I don't believe this." He said they were in here to buy parts to build a computer, and they had a written purchase order from you for 50 Apple I computers. And these guys have convinced me that if I sell them the parts and give them 30-day terms, that they will build these boards up, they will deliver them to you, you will pay them COD. You know, I thought, hey, that's the deal. God only knows where he built it, but he showed up on the doorstep on the day with the parts.
Remember how we started not so long ago.
I wanted a computer my whole life. That was my big thing in life. But I could never get even near enough to actually toggle the switches and put my own program in. And all of a sudden I just realized, hey, microprocessors, all of a sudden it's affordable. I can actually build my own. And Steve went a little further. Steve saw it more as, you know, a product that you can actually deliver, sell, and someone else can use. Well, I remember driving down Highway 85, we're on the freeway, and Steve mentions, I got a name, Apple Computer. And we kept trying to think of other alternatives to that name, but we couldn't think of anything better.
And also, remember, I'd worked at Atari, and it got us ahead of Atari in the phone book. Remember, an Apple I was not particularly usable for too much, but it was so incredible to be able to have your own computer.
It sort of said, when you buy a computer, you don't want a bunch of switches and lights to toggle stuff in binary. You want a keyboard to start typing, and you want a video display to display all the characters.
It was sort of an embarkation point from the way computers have been going in these big steel boxes with switches and lights to a completely assembled computer on a single board that you could be using within a few hours after buying it.
Still, the audience had to connect it to their own video monitor, connect their own keyboard.
Well, yeah, some people put them in these beautiful walnut cases, and some people put them in big metal boxes, and some people didn't put them in any boxes at all.
And then having the club as a socializing gathering was a good way to show off. I would hold the PC board up in the air and answer a few questions, and some of the questions, what do you plan to add to it? And one of the things I thought about was color. A simple technique for generating color based upon just studying TV when I was in high school. So I started thinking, I'm always thinking, how do you reduce the number of components? And I came up with a much more optimal design that was half the components and twice the power. Plus it had color, paddles, sound, and all that in the end. That was the Apple II.
Every few days, Woz would, say, God, I've made an incredible breakthrough. I've, saved a few chips here and there. And I remember this iterative process of watching him get to this incredible stage, but then figure out a way to take another few parts out and add 3 more features. And it kept getting better and better and better. And it was like a polishing. It was like you had something really neat to start with, but then you just polished it, and it got better and better and better and better and tighter and tighter. And it ended up, of course, being legendary. Our dream was to have a computer in a plastic case, sort of, as a statement against those big metal boxes. And then Jerry Manick was the person that designed the Apple II case. From the time I met Jerry Manick to the time we had final drawings was 3 weeks. So we didn't try a lot of things. We just did what we thought would be great. And I think, if you look at an Apple II today, it still looks good. And that's not something that most products can say almost 10 years after their introduction.
We started small. We started with nothing. 2 guys and $1,300. And because of that, we've had to depend very heavily on other people, the users, the dealers. And so we established a much better relationship with our dealers and our customers.
And the dealers loved the Apple II. The dealers from the very beginning loved it because they could just sell this one box for the first time. They didn't, remember the early dealers used to have people in the back rooms assembling the kits for people that didn't want to assemble them themselves. And it was sort of a real hobby hangout.
I had this retail store in 1975. We opened the bike shop, officially opened the doors. I remember Steve one day came by and said, this is insane. You have to build these things. That somebody should make an assembled computer and this thing would just grow so much faster.
We've helped create an entrepreneurial computer programmer. You can sit at home, write a program, and hope to make $1 million off it, just the way a rock star could hope to cut a tape, make a record, and make $1 million off that.
I remember the first day this real tall guy named Dan Filestra was walking through Banley 1, which was the only building we had at that time, and with this diskette saying, "This is going to be a revolution," you know? I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Oh, we haven't got a name for it, but it's sort of a way to put rows and columns of numbers together. It's sort of like a visible calculator," you know, and that was what he was calling it at that time.
And it would only work on one computer, the Apple II, because it was the only one of those personal computers that had enough memory.
That was the first time that software sold hardware.
So it was like the extra capability that existed in our product really made a lot of things possible for Apple and put Apple into the leading position.
And if you buy an Apple, you can get almost any type of program you want, regardless of what you want to do. There's games, there's hundreds of games. There's probably a dozen word processors, probably a dozen databases.
It showed up in third world countries. It showed up at Standard Oil running their offshore oil platforms. It showed up in schools.
You turn a 6-year-old loose with logo, and before you know it, by the time they're in the 2nd grade, they understand variables and many-sided polygons and the relationship between polygons and circles. And the curriculum says they aren't supposed to know that until they're in the 8th grade.
There's just been a lot of people who've spent uncountable, enjoyable hours discovering, you know, all about computers and all about themselves, messing around with an Apple II.
Every single step of the way, we knew that we were the leader. We knew why this product was the best one. It was totally obvious. We upgraded the system from cassettes to floppies, from integer basic to floating point basic to lowercase. So we went through many of those improvements, and we always had to remember a huge body of prior customers that were so important.
We really care about the people that buy our products. You know, we care about those people out there. Ever since the beginning, we sort of considered them, you know, part of the Apple family.
And then we saw, you know, the same kind of resurgence, just an incremental kick when the IIe came out, because there was a real pent-up demand. It was obvious there was a pent-up demand for a better Apple II.
It provides more solutions for more people in terms of software and hardware put together to do a job than any computer in history. In history.
We shipped more Apple IIs in the first 4 years than all the computers ever in the history of man that had ever been shipped.
There's a lot of resurgence of interest in the II. And what's really interesting is you read more and more articles and you see more and more quotes about the Apple II lasted forever.
I think it all just stems from mostly Woz's perception of the universe, which is trying to make stuff really great and really simple.
It's so neat, you know, it's so fun to see. I don't know what's going to happen, but you know, I'm just watching these guys, and you can just see those wheels spinning, and you know, oh boy, they're going home working, and there's some good stuff that's going to happen.
I mean, it's everything from, you know, the first piece of machinery that brought computing to people to the, you know, sort of two kids in garage make good.
Yeah, we designed Macintosh really because we wanted one for ourselves and we couldn't get one. And Apple turned it into a product to turn the whole world on to what we've got. I think really Mac is a big extension of, you know, who we think we are and where we think we're going. And that's why we designed the product.
And so we set out to capture the greatness of Lisa in something affordable to individuals rather than corporations.
It had to be easy to manufacture. It had to be very reliable because we didn't want our customers to ever have to worry about it failing. And it had to cost roughly 1/4 as much as anything I'd ever designed before.
demonstrating a Macintosh is the only way to do it. You got to show somebody. I can't really describe it to you in words, but if I can get you to sit in front of it and play with it, you won't let go of it.
And I think what you're going to see is that the balance of power is going to shift. The balance of power from companies running people to hopefully people running companies.
We were just trying to make something incredibly great, and I think we did.
Apple presents a revolutionary idea. Macintosh. Apple invented personal computing, and Macintosh represents a major breakthrough in computer technology. Never before has there been a computer so powerful and yet so easy to use at such an affordable price. But Macintosh is more than just another personal computer. Based on revolutionary Lisa technology, it sets a new standard, a standard that'll set the pace for the entire personal computer industry. Macintosh was developed for people who want to be creative in their work, motivated, success-oriented people, in offices, in dormitories, in homes, and in the Fortune 500, along Main Street, USA, and around the world.
Je ne connais pas de micro-ordinateur qui soit plus français que Macintosh.
Lisa was the first in Apple's System 32 family of supermicros that use advanced technology to work the way you do, by sight, instinct, and intuition. With Macintosh, we took the essence of Lisa technology, the same 32-bit microprocessor, integrated software design, pull-down menus, windows, and mouse, and designed it to meet the needs of everyone who works at a desk. Macintosh is a new kind of desk tool, one that sparks thought, increases productivity, and expands the creative potential of every individual who uses it.
Set it up.
We made Macintosh
Well, what are you
more
going to use
affordable,
this for anyway?
to make it easy to own.
Well, it looks
We
easy
made
to
it
put in here,
compact,
too.
so it could fit anywhere. We made it lightweight, to go anywhere. Macintosh is as easy to set up as it is to use. All you have to do is plug Macintosh into a wall outlet and the keyboard into the main unit. Then plug the mouse into the back of Macintosh and you're ready to go to work. And because it's so small, Macintosh fits comfortably and quietly onto any desk. Macintosh was designed on the simple premise that a computer is a lot more useful if it's easy to use. Like Lisa, Macintosh uses a mouse, a small rolling device that fits into the palm of your hand. The mouse is attached to a pointer on the screen. As you move the mouse around on your desktop, you move the pointer on the screen. The screen layout resembles a desktop, displaying icons, or little pictures, of objects you'll have no trouble recognizing. The disk you just inserted, and a trash can. The menu bar is at the top of the screen. By pointing to a heading in the menu bar and pressing the button on the mouse, you can pull down the menu, like a window shade, and see all the functions at your command. The first heading is a picture of an apple. This menu includes all the desk accessories that you can use. The accessories are electronic versions of the things you might normally keep on your desk, like a calculator, a clock, or a notepad. Other menus let you open and close files, edit your work, change formats, styles, or other options. To tell Macintosh what you want to do, all you have to do is point and click. To examine the documents on your disk, point to the disk, click, and select Open from the File menu. The contents of the disk are displayed as icons on the screen. The icon of the handwriting on paper stands for MacWrite, your word processing program. It contains all of your writing tools. This icon stands for MacPaint, your unique illustration program that contains all of your picture-making tools. This is an existing memo, while this is an existing illustration. Let's touch up the illustration, paste it into the memo, and print the whole thing out. In this case, you need to complete a new shoe design for your company featuring power pivot points on the sole. Select the pencil to finish your drawing. Moving the mouse on your desk moves the pencil on the screen. To include this illustration in a memo, you use the mouse to draw a box around it that tells Macintosh this is the area you want to cut and save. Then move the pointer to the menu bar and find the word Edit. Press the mouse button and you'll see a menu of all the editing commands available. Move the pointer down this menu to the command Cut. Release the mouse button and it's done. Now that you've cut the illustration, you put it aside by moving the pointer to File and down to Quit, and then release the mouse button. Now you want to find the memo you've been working on, so you select it, Athena Sport. To open it, you point to File, press the button on the mouse, move down to Open, release the button, and you're ready to go to work. Here's the memo in which you'd like to include your illustration. The memo was created with MacWrite, the word processing program for Macintosh. With MacWrite, you not only write and edit electronically, but you can change the type style to emphasize a point. For instance, let's say you want to change the size and the style of the type on the Athena Sport memo heading. First, you select the words you want to change by moving the pointer through them. Then point to the Style heading, move the pointer to 24 point, and the heading changes to this larger size. To change the type font, move to the Font heading, select the font, and it changes. To outline your memo heading, move the pointer to Style, and then down to Outline, and it's done. Let's say you want to do a couple of more things to your memo. For instance, make the subject of the memo, Launching Zapata, in a bolder typeface. First, select the text, move the pointer to Style, then down to Bold, and there it is. Now you want to underline a phrase. Select the text, in this case, 143-page report. Move the pointer to Style, then to Underline, and it's done. Once you've finished your memo, just select the place for your illustration. To paste in the illustration, move the mouse pointer to the Edit menu at the top of the screen. Press the mouse button as you move the pointer to the Paste command. Release the mouse button, and you've done it. As you can see, the illustration of the shoe is now part of your memo. Now it's time to print it out. You tell Macintosh to print the same way you tell it to do everything else. Move the pointer to File and downward to Print. That's all there is to it. Everything you see on the screen will appear exactly the same way on your paper. Macintosh takes the old desk tools and makes them work in ways they never could before. And when it comes to business, the flexibility of Macintosh can help you produce extraordinary results. Create memos that command attention. Produce reports with visual impact. Make lasting impressions with graphics that aid in the analysis of ideas. But no matter how you use Macintosh, it opens the door to creativity. So you spend more time and less time getting them done. The key to all computers is software. Software that meets your individual needs. The development of Macintosh by Apple has been paralleled by the work of leading software developers.
Over 2 years now. It's a great machine. It's a step forward in terms of the way it uses graphics and the speed. And this is a machine that a lot of people are going to be able to afford. That's a very, very useful machine. I was enthused. Microsoft doesn't work with new hardware very often, but we put a team of people on it from the beginning, and we're planning that over half of our retail sales next year will come from Macintosh software.
We at Software Publishing Corporation are going to develop our software for the Macintosh. The software that we're known for is the PFS brand of software. And it's the one that's been very, very popular on the Apple II line, and we think the new technology represented by the Mac is going to be a very, very big opportunity for us. So we certainly are very excited about putting our software on Mac.
The reason that Lotus is doing this product and the reason that I'm interested in it personally is much the same reason that I originally got involved with the Apple II in 1977. It's exciting, it's new, but beyond that, we can really do something in software that's of value to people, to lots and lots of people, that we simply couldn't do before. The technology that's in Macintosh makes it possible, we think, for us to move ahead, move the state of the art ahead in software. And that's what's exciting, and that's why we're in business.
Macintosh is designed to be the heart of a flexible personal productivity system that can expand as your needs change. At the back of Macintosh, you'll find 2 built-in ports for connecting a printer, a modem, or to Apple Bus, Apple's own local area network, as well as a dedicated port for an external disk drive. The Image Writer printer from Apple is specially designed for Macintosh. By plugging a modem into your Macintosh, you can communicate by telephone with electronic databases and news services. You can also emulate DEC VT100 and IBM 3278 terminals. You can expand the storage capacity of your Macintosh with an external disk drive, just like the one we built in. And if you work with lots of numbers, you'll appreciate the optional numeric keypad. And when you're ready to travel, Macintosh can easily go along. The durable carrying case is strong and waterproof. Your Macintosh, keyboard, mouse, manuals, and software all fit neatly inside. Even fully loaded, the carrying case is light enough to go anywhere you go. The story of Macintosh is a story of high technology. From its design to manufacturing, Apple has used the most advanced equipment and engineering principles available to produce Macintosh. At the Macintosh factory, state-of-the-art computer-aided design, robotics, auto-insertion equipment, and automated guided vehicles drive manufacturing costs down while increasing quality and reliability.
The philosophy at Apple is that we have the very best quality equipment and facilities so that we can build the very best quality computers. And that's the whole philosophy here. And that's the reason for this machine. We start right here, and it's impossible for us to put a bad circuit board in a Macintosh computer.
As one of the most advanced manufacturing facilities in the country, the Macintosh factory will produce a new Macintosh every 27 seconds. But most importantly, when you put Macintosh in front of you, you'll know that you have Apple's reputation for quality service and support behind you. Macintosh is different, a new kind of computer, one that's powerful but approachable, one that establishes a new standard in the industry. Macintosh is part of Apple's purpose for being in business, to create personal computers that help you get the most out of living, a vision best summed up by Steve Jobs, chairman of Apple Computer.
I'm glad you had a chance to see Macintosh. I'm really excited about it myself. I love products, Sony Profiles and Walkman and beautiful Braun appliances and beautiful Mercedes-Benz automobile designs. Macintosh is the neatest product I've ever seen in my life. And I think that combined with Lisa 2, we've got a 32-bit family of products that is going to be able to not only increase the productivity in offices and colleges around the world, but is going to be able to make a qualitative difference in the way that we communicate with each other. And what's so exciting about Macintosh is, while Lisa pioneered this amazing technology, this amazing software technology that makes this possible, with Macintosh we've been able to take that software technology and pull it down into a price range that's going to be affordable not just to the corporation, as Lisa is, but to the individual. And we're going to find people buying Macintoshes for their own use, or for use in a dormitory, or for use in a corner of a corporation that might never have gotten a computer before. And coupled with this radical ease of use, which Lisa technology provides, I think we're going to be able to bring these products to not just hundreds of thousands or a few million people, but tens of millions of people. And that's really what the personal computer revolution is all about.
Find out what Macintosh is all about Ask your authorized Apple salesperson to give you a hands-on introduction to Macintosh. Discover Macintosh and see the difference firsthand. Macintosh, the computer for the rest of us.
Imagine you could build a company that is to software what Apple is to hardware.
We really have a great team, the kind of people that made Apple truly great, the kind of people who really believe in the idea that the power of the microcomputer should be available to everyone.
What would you make of it?
We really saw this as a wonderful opportunity for the first time to concentrate on Apple software. It's an opportunity to take great people, a clear strategy, and really make it happen.
Claris is software from the people who made the Macintosh and Apple II. Claris is the only major software developer totally dedicated to designing products that finally take full advantage of Apple's unique architectures. No compromises, because there's no need to market to other operating systems.
That's what Core Technologies is all about. We build these software building blocks like a spelling checker or an AI inference engine or a SQL communications module. Whatever.
And once these building blocks are developed, we can integrate them into all of our applications.
Hardware companies use the same concept.
And this will allow us to bring new products to the market a lot faster. This building block approach will ensure that all our applications have a unified personality that goes well beyond the user interface.
That's really what it's all about. The pace of development and innovation just got a lot faster because Claris has the resources to make it happen. That means that your computer is rapidly going to become an easier and more versatile tool. To assure all this, we're going to be talking with you.
More than once I've called software companies and the right person wasn't around, or they put me through to someone who took a guess, or they say they'll call back in a week.
It is really important that they get through to the right person so the problem's handled effectively and immediately.
Absolutely. I think the big point here is whether it's a technical problem or a bad disk, our customers deserve the best support we can give them.
So, what about now? Well, already Claris is a full slate of significant and attractive updates to some of the most popular software packages on the market today, ready now, and available as low-cost upgrades to current owners. To many, this group of icons will appear familiar, but behind them we'll find some very useful and impressive changes. For starters, Mac Paint is now compatible with the Mac II and Apple Share. You can open up to 9 resizable documents at the same time. The snapshot feature, together with Magic Eraser, lets users return any portion of the picture to a prior version, and editing can be accomplished at 4 different zooming levels, including 50% reduction. Some of Mac Draw's improvements include significantly increased speed through the elimination of screen redraw, editing accuracy up to 2,000 dots per inch, multiple drawing layers depending on memory available, zoom up to 32 times enlargement or down to 3 times reduction, and the ability to save objects by name in a library. Mac Write now supports large screen monitors, so you can see your entire page on screen. There is now a 100,000-word dictionary, as well as a user dictionary for personal vocabulary. And there are several keyboard shortcuts for frequently used functions. SmartForm Designer is the tool that provides everything you need to quickly create professional quality forms. It can design in points, picas, inches, or centimeters. Forms design can include automatic calculations, formatting and page numbering, and output can be through any PostScript compatible device, including a Linotronic 300. SmartForm Manager is the logical extension that lets you complete and manage smart business forms, and allows you to exchange data with many databases and spreadsheets. SmartForms Manager also allows you to sort through stacks of electronic forms rather than paper files. It has context-sensitive help and automatic formatting to speed up the completion process. Among the numerous improvements to Mac Project 2 is that it now allows for color plotter output up to E-size plotters. There is now hierarchical sub-project consolidation, displays of multiple resource calendars, planned and actual status and resource histograms. AppleWorks 2.0 completes the Claris family. AppleWorks is the best-selling integrated program for the Apple II, combining word processing, database, mail merge, and spreadsheet capabilities. Many third-party vendors have designed packages that increase its versatility even further. All in all, these Mac and Apple II packages represent a pretty formidable array. But this is only the beginning.
We really have accomplished a lot since we started, but I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who don't know who we are. But when they see the things that we have coming, everyone will know who Claris is.
Welcome to Your World, Your Newton. You know, sometime back in the 1700s, an apple dropped, and Sir Isaac Newton had a bright idea, the laws of gravity. It was a turning point in history. Well, modern physics, astronomy, the space program. Newton's intelligence gave us a new way of looking at the world. And now, 200 years later, the Apple has created another bright idea. Introducing the Newton MessagePad from Apple. A remarkable new way of looking at the world. Newton is Apple's first entry into a completely new category of products. The Newton MessagePad is a personal electronic device that Apple refers to as a communications assistant. What's new is the smart technology inside that helps you stay in touch with friends and associates, organize your life, and capture ideas as they happen. It has a built-in notepad for writing and drawing with a pen that comes with the unit. Newton turns your handwriting into clear text and cleans up your rough sketches like an artist. You can select items and move them around on the screen. If you make a mistake, just scribble it out. There's a built-in address book, a calendar with reminders, and communications capabilities that let you print perfectly formatted letters, send a fax with a cover sheet, receive a page, beam information directly from one Newton to another by infrared wireless technology, and send and receive electronic mail. Add a cable connector and a little software, and Newton synchronizes information with PCs running Windows or Apple Macintosh computers. One of the miracles of all this technology is that it sits comfortably in your hand, fits easily into a pocket, and weighs under a pound. Newton is the first product from Apple to have a button labeled Assist. Tap it, and you open a whole new world of possibilities. Mobile business people are always looking for better ways to stay in touch. For them, Newton will be as easy to use as pen and paper, but far more versatile than portable computers or electronic organizers. Let me ask you, John, how do you like using Newton when you're away from the office?
Oh, it's great. I never liked typing on those impossibly small keyboards. With Newton, I just write. I can leave it in my handwriting, or I can have it turned to text. And Newton is intelligent. I depend on it to help me get things done faster. For example, I keep a to-do list. If I want to call Sarah Smith, I select Sarah's name, tap Assist. Newton looks up the phone number, displays it, and even dials the phone.
How does Newton's intelligence enable you to use new capabilities in communications?
Well, for one, there's the Newton messaging card that receives information just like a pager. Except I get a lot more than phone numbers. I actually get messages. And here's where it gets interesting. If I receive a message with the word meeting, Newton recognizes the word meeting and offers to set up an appointment with my calendar. I think that's pretty impressive.
Intelligence is what makes Newton such a revolutionary communications assistant. Newton really helps out by interpreting what you do and then lending a hand. Well, take faxing. Say you have a note you want to fax to Sarah Smith. You select her name and then you tap fax. Newton looks up Sarah's fax number. Then it creates a cover sheet. Then it formats the note as a business letter, complete with letterhead, Sarah's name and address and today's date, and stores the fax in the outbox. And all you have to do is attach the Newton fax modem to Newton, punch the fax button, wham, Newton does all the rest.
I can send a fax anywhere. I can send and receive electronic mail. In fact, that's how I stay in contact with the office.
Well, it's clear, John, that Newton has made a big difference in your world.
You know, I really feel like I'm in touch with my business. And with things moving so fast these days, that's important to me. In fact, at work, they're calling me the great communicator.
Newton is a natural for business people who are searching for the best mobile technology. But what about the rest of us? Let's take a look at the world that you live in. Try taking everything out of your pockets, including, well, all the notes in your wallet, or all the business cards you've kept over these ages, and the sketches from a napkin from a restaurant, and matchbooks and scraps with people's names on it, and yellow sticky reminders, your Rolodex, your pager, everything. Now, out of this pile, say you want to look at an item that relates to a project at work, or maybe summer camp for the kids, or perhaps a new pastime like remodeling your house. Now, chances are it'd be tough, but if you had jotted it all down on a Newton MessagePad, you could find what you're looking for instantly.
Juggling a family and a job means I have a lot to keep track of. I used to have lists and reminders all over the place. Now I organize everything in my Newton. It really helps me simplify my life.
Sean, how does Newton help you get organized?
Well, it seems that everybody has less time to do more things these days, especially with the kids. So my husband David and I really depend on our Newton's calendar to help sort things out. I can look at each day, pull up the week, or even check out the whole month at a glance. And I don't know what I would do without my to-do list. It rolls over day to day, so that way I can't escape until I get everything done.
Can you give me an example of how all this works for you and your family?
That's easy. The other day my daughter was getting ready for her school play, so we did it together. We put all her rehearsals down on the calendar. And then we drew a map of the school, which we'll send along to her cousins with the invitations. And then we made notes about the play.
One of the guiding principles behind Newton is that you don't have to be computer literate to use one. Because the interface is designed around writing, drawing, and tapping buttons, almost anyone can be a Newton user in almost no time. You're a writer, Sean. How does Newton help you in your professional life?
Well, I'm working on my second book. What a difference. I'm managing the whole project with my Newton. I love it.
Newton packs a lot of innovation into a little package. A new wrist chip has the power of a desktop computer, yet it consumes less energy than a small flashlight. But perhaps the most innovative thing about Newton is its intelligence. Newton Intelligence gives you the freedom to capture ideas spontaneously as they happen and communicate them anywhere in the world.
Every time I went to the library, I got a lot of great ideas for papers and projects. I'd write them down, but they seemed to get lost in the shuffle. Now, I jot them down in my Newton. Haven't lost one yet.
Now, Teresa, you were saying you do design work. How does the Newton help you there?
Yeah, okay. The other day I was in my graphic design class and I thought of a new idea. So I just sketched it right on my Newton and it cleaned up my rough draft and turned it into a drawing. So when I got home, I transferred the drawing onto my computer and used it in my class presentation. Now, 6 months ago this would have been lost on the back of a napkin, but thanks to Newton, it's all right here.
Now, the extras button here, any hidden treasures?
The world clock, yeah. I'm going to Paris this summer for a work-study program and I've got a lot of rearranging to do with my life. So I just write time in Paris. And tap assist, and Newton brings up the world map with the correct time in Paris. Now, even with the time difference, I know exactly when to call. So when I get there, I'm going to transfer all my information to the local time there, and it's all set.
Yeah, you won't lose a minute.
Yeah, and look at this. Automatic currency conversion. I know exactly what I'm going to be spending there when I go shopping.
Now, Teresa, have you ever tried beaming to another Newton?
Oh yeah, names, phone numbers, class schedules, sketches, whatever. I just point this to another Newton and zap, the information is transferred. No wires or anything. It's really cool.
It's way cool.
Yeah.
Communication, intelligence, capturing and organizing ideas. You're beginning to see why Newton will be a turning point in the way we all live, work, and play. Newton puts the future of personal communications right in the palm of your hand. And Apple is committed to helping you and your customers benefit from this new technology. Apple is publishing new software titles on PCM CIA cards that slide right into the top of the Newton. From advanced calculators to business forms to travel guides and entertainment, Apple is priming a new software category that's about to explode. Third-party developers are moving fast to get creative new software on the shelf for Newton. Apple is also introducing a broad array of accessories that should be very appealing to your customers. The Newton Connection Kit links Newton to a Macintosh computer or a PC running Windows. You can view and edit Newton information on your computer screen and back up Newton data to your computer. Choose the Pro Kit and you get the added feature of translating notes, names, and appointments directly from Newton into popular PC and Macintosh applications. The messaging card turns Newton into a mobile pager. It can receive and store wireless messages from regional and nationwide paging systems. The lightweight fax modem runs on batteries and weighs only 7 ounces. It allows you to send faxes anywhere, connect to online services, or send and receive electronic mail. The Print Pack expands Newton's printing capabilities beyond its built-in support for Apple printers. It comes with hardware and software that connects to thousands of PC printers, including the Hewlett-Packard LaserJet and DeskJet, the Canon BubbleJet, and the Epson FX and LQ dot matrix printers. Storage cards increase your storage capacity. They hold from 4 to 8 times as much information as the basic Newton unit. Batteries are always critical to a portable device, and Apple has a variety of options to complement what is already a very energy-efficient unit. Newton ships with a power adapter, which is also offered as an accessory. You can have a power adapter at the office and buy an extra one for use at home. And there are durable carrying cases, including one made from high-quality leather to protect the Newton MessagePad. Apple is introducing Newton with 2 special bundles to help you communicate the value of Newton to your customers. The Newton communication system includes a fax modem for sending faxes, sending and receiving electronic mail, and connecting to online services. The Newton Professional Communication System includes the fax modem and adds the connection kit, which enables Newton to synchronize information with PCs running Windows and Apple Macintosh computers. With either bundle, your customers will share the excitement of moving into the future of communications. Apple is also licensing Newton technology to other hardware manufacturers. So look for this new category of intelligent devices to take off like a rocket. And this is what's going to make it all happen. The Newton MessagePad from Apple. It's the beginning of something big that will change the way we look at the world. Thanks for joining us on Your World, Your Newton.
Information on the internet is profoundly changing how we communicate. In the near future, using the internet will be as common as using telephone services we have today. In some cases, I suspect we'll hardly even notice when we're online. To give you an idea of how different things may be in just a few years, let's take a look at the future. In this next video, you'll see a professor who is collaborating with a colleague. Now, the technology he's using doesn't really exist, but it's based on capabilities we have today. Network file sharing, voice recognition, video teleconferencing, even intelligent agents. Although you may not have realized it, those of you who have conducted database queries or explored the web using a search tool like Yahoo have been using intelligent agents that exist today. It's just that in the future, they'll be able to do a lot more.
You have 3 messages. Your graduate research team in Guatemala, just checking in. Robert Jordan, a second semester junior, requesting a second extension on his term paper. And your mother reminding you about your father.
Surprise birthday party next Sunday.
Today you have a faculty lunch at 12 o'clock. You need to take Kathy to the airport by 2. You have a lecture at 4:15 on deforestation in the Amazon rainforest.
Right. Let me see the lecture notes from last semester. No, that's not enough. I need to review more recent literature. Pull up all the new articles I haven't read yet.
Journal articles only?
Fine.
Your friend Jill Gilbert has published an article about deforestation in the Amazon and its effects on rainfall in the sub-Sahara. It also covers drought's effect on food production in Africa and increasing imports of food.
Contact Jill.
I'm sorry, she's not available right now. I left a message that you had called.
Okay. Let's see. There's an article about 5 years ago, Dr. Flemson or something. He really disagreed with the direction of Jill's research.
John Fleming of Uppsala University. He published in the Journal of Earth Science of July 20 of 2006.
Yes, that's it. He was challenging Jill's projection of the amount of carbon dioxide being released to the atmosphere through deforestation. I'd like to recheck his figures.
Here is the rate of deforestation he predicted.
And what happened? He was really off. Give me the university research network. Show only universities with geography nodes. Show Brazil. Copy the last 30 years at this location at 1 month intervals.
Excuse me, Jill Gilbert is calling back.
Great. Put her through.
Hi, Mike. What's up?
Jill, thanks for getting back to me. Well, I guess that new grant of yours hasn't dampened your literary abilities. Rumor has it that you've just put out the definitive article on deforestation.
Aha. Is this one of your typical last-minute panics for lecture material?
It would be great if you were available to make a few comments. Nothing formal. After my talk, you would come up on the big screen, discuss your article, and then answer some questions from the class.
You know, I have a simulation that shows the spread of the Sahara over the last 20 years. Here, let me show you.
Nice. Very nice. I've got some maps of the Amazon area during the same time. Let's put these together. Interesting. I can definitely use this. Thanks for your time, Jill. I really appreciate it.
No problem. But next time I'm in Berkeley, you're buying the dinner.
Dinner, right.
See ya, 4:15.
Bye-bye.
While you were busy, your mother called again to remind you to pick up the birthday cake.
Fine. Print this article before I go.
Now printing.
Okay, I'm going to lunch now. If Kathy calls, tell her I'll be there at 2 o'clock. Also, find out if I can set up a meeting tomorrow morning with, Tom Lee.
Enjoy your lunch. Hello, Professor Bradford is away at the moment. Would you like to leave a message?
Michael, this is your mother. I know that you're there. I'm just calling to remind you to call your sister and pick up.
The intelligent agent in that video is represented by an actor. Probably not the way things will actually turn out. Today's intelligent agents work behind the scenes, and that trend is likely to continue. Knowledge Navigator also gave us a hint of an emerging technology that will eliminate all the trouble we have today with non-compatible files. It's called OpenDoc. OpenDoc will allow documents from different applications to work together and be combined, like the rainforest maps the professor was creating. OpenDoc will also make it easy to customize applications by selecting just the combination of tools we'd like to use from a number of sources. In this next story, you'll see a teacher who is using OpenDoc to create an electronic field guide for her biology students. OpenDoc is allowing her to integrate tools and resource materials from her school server and from the internet. Another technology to watch for is CyberDog. CyberDog is a new technology from Apple that allows you to drag and drop internet information onto your personal desktop. In the future, we'll also be able to access our files from wherever we happen to be. Watch for the high school student who is working on her Team Shakespeare project at home and then later in class. Everything you're about to see and you think.
Really good teachers-based activities with their kids really don't just open up the world to let the kids do anything. There's sort of a hidden structure, and the kinds of tools you put out for kids to work with actually sort of guide the way they are able to inquire and build and communicate their ideas. What we imagine for the future is sort of a workspace or desktop where teachers can just choose all the different tools they want, drop them into place, go to work, and the software takes care of all of the integrations.
The kinds of tools we're looking at and developing are ones that allow you to create learning environments, do your own publishing, build things that are in fact are useful not only at the moment, but can potentially be useful to the colleagues in your district and beyond.
Peter?
Hi.
Hi. Listen, I am totally stumped. I have this great unit on growth and nature, but I'm having a heck of a time really driving the point home.
What are you looking for exactly?
Well, I've got some great observation experiments, and I've got some great background material on cell growth, but...
You're just not sure how to open the lesson.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. That's my problem.
You're in luck. I came across some really good time-lapse stuff last week. Worked great with my kids. Here, I'll send you Cyberlink. They've got a whole series of shots like, well, like this one. Just browse through. You can choose the ones you like.
This is perfect. Thank you so much, Peter. Listen, I'll see you next week at the district meeting.
I'll be there.
See ya.
The real world's full of all kinds of sounds and actions and colors that really turn kids on. That's what really drives curiosity. If in the future we had really powerful mobile devices that would help kids collect those images and sounds and work with them, we'd have a kind of opportunity for learning that we've never had before. The real power of these technologies is that kids would have the opportunity to connect to other sources of information, to ask questions, to compare and contrast, to analyze right there at the moment of discovery. When kids get back to the classroom, they'll be able to share their experiences through powerful multimedia presentations that really capture the dynamics of the experience they had in the field. They can get their ideas together on their own personal desktops, but then distribute their work anywhere in the school or even to remote locations.
You know, with a little editing, I could use this footage in our diorama here at the park. What do you think, you guys?
Absolutely. Great.
When we had a very small information space, it was practical to think about people going through and indexing at least what they thought were the big ideas of the key concepts. Now, where the information space is literally global and includes not just text, but images and sounds, the models we've used in the past to do our searches simply aren't adequate.
So the notion is to develop tools that make it easier and easier to navigate with purpose through that sea of information. Tools that are smart enough, intelligent enough to be sensitive to context.
There's work being done with intelligent agents that look at the kind of materials that you find and personally value, analyzing them, and then going off, sometimes for hours and hours at a time, paring down the thousands of potentially relevant pieces of information to the few high-quality ones that you really want to spend your time on.
O dear Father, it is thy business that I go about. No blown ambition doth our arms incite, but love, dear love, and our aged father's right.
So now, in spite of the fact that he kicked her out of the family, Cordelia remains loyal to her father and doesn't stop loving him. Now listen, I put these 3 clips on the bulletin board if you like.
Great educators challenge their students with big ideas. Ideas that have to be thought about and researched over long periods of time. Real advantage to anywhere, anytime computing the way we're thinking about it is that no matter where students were, they'd be able to get back to their own personal desktop and continue working on that project, on that big idea. The tools that we imagine for the future are really based on the technologies that we have today. Our responsibility is to make sure that every kid in every kind of school has access to these kinds of tools, not just to enable them to find more data, but to gain real knowledge and to learn how to solve real-world problems.